In this dynamic episode of G&T Sips and Giggles, one for the road, Glenn and Tina dive into the excitement of the Euros, sharing standout moments. They then serve up insights from Wimbledon, discussing the biggest upsets and incredible plays. The duo also chat about the latest Celine Dion documentary and her inspiring resilience. Finally, they tackle an engaging listener question in their popular Sip and Share segment. So, grab your favourite drink and tune in for a blend of sports, music and heartfelt listener interactions, all served with a generous pour of laughter and camaraderie. Good evening, Glenn Marshall Adams, my little favourite button mushroom. Hello, pet.
Oh, Miss Legs Tantrum, how are you?
Do you know something? Oh, Glenn, I am fabulous.
Indeed you are. Indeed you are.
Yeah. Did you think I was going to say something else there?
I did. I thought I was going to get another mushroom pun.
Not at
I thought
all.
you were going to talk a lot of shiitake.
Oh, shiitake. I like talking shiitake. If anybody can talk shiitake, it's me, believe you me. What have you been up to, my love?
Gosh, well, been up to quite a bit actually.
Good.
So first of all, just a quick update. Car's fixed, it's all sorted.
Yay.
So that's all we need to say on that. Been working away with your good self. We've been all over the country.
Yes, we have. We hit the big time.
We
now,
did.
haven't
We did. We were in none other than Malile.
Costa del Malile, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, last Friday night, and I have to say, wasn't it? It was absolutely fantastic.
The people in Malile know how to party, I have to say. Now, you might notice my voice is a wee bit hoarse. I'm just not feeling 100% at the moment. So I'm not.
Yeah,
But
you need to be drop a theme on oil like Glenn once. So he does, ladies and gentlemen, because we'll tell you something. We had the absolute hoot. Now, it's a small, narrow, galley-shaped kind of bar.
it's like a shoebox.
It's like a shoebox.
It is a shoebox.
And the stage was like the eye of a needle.
It was.
And it wasn't even big for the two of us, but I had a runway right up and down the middle.
You did.
And the banter and the crack and the people and the atmosphere. See, that's why I love a small venue sometimes. Don't get me wrong. It depends on where we're going, what we're doing, who we're entertaining. But a good atmosphere always comes from whoever's on stage, right?
Agreed.
But to me, in our years of experience, as you well know now, Glenn, that atmosphere is, I think, the smaller the bar.
Sometimes it can be a bit hit or miss, right? Because with a smaller crowd, you've got less of an active audience, and sometimes people are not very willing to engage, as you probably discovered on Friday when you were out grabbing people out of their seats saying,
that's
come on
true,
up, come on up and have a wee sing song. But you're absolutely right. Those kind of gigs though are very few and far between for us, and I did have fun, to be fair.
Yeah, we
did
all
have
did.
a laugh, and I am suffering for it now. So we should also point out that it was karaoke we were doing on Friday night.
The G&T show.
The G&T karaoke show, which we then done in Union Street on Saturday.
Yes, we did on the day after. And yet again, lo and behold, rammed, packed, bunged, full of happy, clappy, toe-tappy people who were all thoroughly enjoying themselves and having a laugh. And like, I just, it was so good. It was so good. So when you go from one extreme to the other extreme, but the extremity in the middle is pure fun and banter and crack and so. And I just love those people, because sometimes they tell you stuff and they shouldn't be telling you stuff. Do you know what I mean?
You'll need to share. What were they telling you?
No. I promised Big Rhonda I'd take it to the grave. I promised Big Rhonda. I love it when they've got a couple of scoops down their necks and they be, here, Tina, come here, I'll tell you something.
Oh, you do find out all the gossip.
Oh, you get all the... and sometimes you'd be standing there and my jaw would hit the floor, because I'd be like, what?
I know.
Tina, don't you be telling nobody? And I'd be like, well, I don't think I should, actually, because I think you can get arrested for that, pet. Do you know what I mean?
So yes, so that's why I'm sounding a bit worse for wear at the moment. I'm very hoarse. I've sang my heart out over the past 2 days,
You did.
3 days. What about you? What have you been up to other than obviously working with my good self?
Well, I've just been keeping in check and yet still loving looking after Mama Bear and keeping the house neat and tidy. What a week.
What a week.
First of all, England have made it through to the Euros, the semi-finals.
Now,
which
you have to explain to me, what does that mean?
it's a game, it's called football.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
Honestly. And well, like I'm like you, I'm a Johnny come lately, don't get me wrong, right? And England have been slaughtered by fans and followers and supporters because the truth be told, they played miserably.
Have they? Okay.
And they just got through with the skin of their green teeth.
Oh.
But
Did they win the Euros?
they're in the Euros, yeah.
But did they win the Euros?
No, never. Know that song, It's Coming Home.
Yeah.
It's never been home.
Oh, okay.
It's not coming home. Well, I don't think so. But anyway, so last match they played there the other day, they went to penalties with Switzerland.
Oh.
And Switzerland missed one.
Oh.
And England didn't. So now they're through to the Euro semi-finals.
Wow, okay. So
Now,
they're there through circumstance rather than...
Exactly, than professionalism and talent.
Wow.
So, and another thing I would touch on is like they're not like the football players like back in the old days, like George Best. Do you know what I mean? Because they're all Instagram models and they're all modelling underwear and aftershave. And fair play to them, like, do you know what I mean? I would love to.
Do you know, we've been watching that Made in Wrexham. I think that's what it's called, Made in Wrexham. It's a program on Disney Plus with Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhenney, about them buying Wrexham AFC football club.
Yes.
Now that is my only sort of intro into football. But the actually thing that came across in watching that series was I have so much admiration for female football.
Oh wow.
They are, talk about proper sportsmen.
Yeah.
Like you watch the men and they get the slightest little knock and they're down. They're in agony and they're doing this and they're doing that. Meanwhile, the girls are pretty much punching the bake of each other.
Absolutely.
And they still play on.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Charging on, they're honest to God, they're like torpedoes.
Yeah.
And that's why the England women's football team, the Lionesses, won the World Cup last year.
I remember
if anybody was going to bring it home, it would have been the ladies.
Yeah.
Well done, ladies,
yes,
by the way.
Once again, ladies showing the men how it should be done.
And I'm also another Johnny come lately with Wimbledon, which has started last week.
I have never watched Wimbledon. I'm really sorry. I have to say, I find it the least interesting of all sports.
I'll tell you for why. I like it when it gets to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and then the finals. I don't like watch all the qualifying matches and all the mixed doubles and all of that. But I do get very interested because there was a young girl last year who won the entire thing, the World Tennis Championships, and she's British, Emma Ratajkowski. And she came from nowhere and she went straight to the top. And she's only like 20, 21, stunning looking girl. But unfortunately, she was put out yesterday.
Oh.
By an unknown.
Oh.
Didn't play as well and just wasn't in sync, I would say. But you want to know who one of my crushes are? And I was devastated to find out that he's retiring after this, Glenn.
Go for it. I'm not sure I would guess, to be honest.
Big Andy Murray.
Andy Murray.
Big Andy Murray. Oh, I swear,
Okay.
Addy at that man like a packet of polo. Swear to God, he's lovely. See, I don't have a type, but see if I was out drinking and Big Andy Murray was standing at the bar, I'd be over.
You climb him like a tree, would you?
Yeah. Oh, honest to God, I'd climb out like Everest and wouldn't wait until I got the snowy white peaky top. I wouldn't take no for an answer. See if he was to say to me, I'm sorry, I'm not into you. I'd be like, you don't have a choice.
So is Wimbledon over yet?
No.
It's still on?
It's still on. We're in the thick of it now. And the thing with Andy Murray is he's retiring from tennis.
Oh, okay.
And he's only doing doubles and he's doing it with his brother.
Right. Okay.
So and their mummy was their coach all their lives.
Judy Murray. Now I remember her.
Judy?
She was on Strictly.
She was. She was into everything a couple of years ago.
Yes.
You see, that's when Andy Murray hit the big time.
Oh, okay.
And then he had a bad hip because he had osteoarthritis in his hip.
Okay.
And then he paid a small fortune to get his hip done. He got his hip done. So he did. Got hip done. So he did. Yes, but now he's back, and he's having problems with his back.
Wow.
So he's had surgery, and he's just not fit enough to do the men's singles. So he hasn't. But I texted him the other day and I says, look, I have a brand new 5-seater hot tub around the number 97. If you want to come all around and jump in and take a wee dip, I'd put Thumper into bed. Come on, you round.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. I don't know, just on the interest of ailments and illness and what have you. Have you watched I Am Celine?
Not yet.
Okay, so it's on Amazon Prime. In fact, it's on most of the streaming services, but it is free on Amazon Prime at the moment. It's a documentary, and if people don't know, it's a documentary that follows Celine Dion. The documentary starts 2017. It's just before she's starting to have problems with her chronic illness, which is known as stiff person syndrome.
Right, okay.
I have to say, bit traumatic in parts. They show one scene where she is having, I can only describe it as an episode of her illness. Okay. So do you know when people have seizures, their muscles get all really tense and they contort, and it was very much like that. But she's got a wonderful team around her, I have to say. Okay. But they left it in the documentary, and my heart broke. Seeing such a kind soul. Like, I know that she's a bit wacky at times, and we all sort of take the mickey out of her. Wacky. Take the mickey out of her for her her arm banging and when she's singing and her fingers, and I mean, such an amazing talent. But she is very, very candid, and she talks about how she can't sing the way she used to sing. And there's one part, Tina, honestly, she was in the studio and she was trying to sing a couple of lyrics on a song, and she just couldn't do it. And when you sort of see in somebody's eyes their world crumbling,
pain,
it's such a sad state of affairs for Celine. Yeah. But as I say, she's surrounded with the best people. She's got people looking after her. She's not down and out. She's struggling, but she's determined. And she's talking about how it's like 1 in 1 million people is impacted by this in the world. So it's extremely rare.
Wow.
But it's you have to watch it. Yeah. And of course, for our listeners, watch it. It's a real eye opener, and it's something that isn't it's not very well known. No. So the treatment isn't really there for it. Okay. But it makes your heart break, especially because so like how much of an amazing talent. The woman could sing a phone book. Yeah. And it shows you her her performances over the years, and singing songs by Tina Turner and Whitney Houston, and building out those really high notes to watching her struggle to sing the very basics, which you just know she would have never had an issue with.
Stiff person syndrome.
Stiff person syndrome.
Because what I have been noticing on social media is people who watch it, and every single person who would come up and say, just watch the Celine Dion documentary. I Am.
It's I Am Celine Dion.
I Am Celine Dion. Yeah. And they all just put tears emojis, like really squealing, crying.
It's really sad. It's the fact, I think, that it's happened to such a nice person as well.
Here's my thought on it. Why not?
I get it.
The reason I'm saying that, I'm not being cruel, I'm being practical, because nobody deserves to be ill. Everybody deserves to be healthy. However, I totally and such admiration for it, because she's not hiding behind, and she's saying, this is what I am now. This is me, but it's not forever. Yeah. And somebody somewhere is going to be watching this with the same symptoms, with the same confusion, with the same heartache, feeling their life slip away, and going back to listening to her diagnosis, listening to what she went through, how she overcame, how she's overcoming, and how she's going to move on. That kind of, you know what I mean?
Well, it gives another person strength, doesn't it?
And absolutely.
It just shows that you can have all the money in the world, because let's be honest, Celine's not shy of a few bob.
No, she's not. She's got a few shillings.
She's got access, I would assume, to some of the best medical care in the planet. Yeah. And this is a very rare thing. So it raises people's awareness. It gives people who are afflicted by such an illness strength to know that there's somebody there that's actually raising awareness and putting it out there, and perhaps, who knows, maybe will spur research into it,
Well, hopefully it will, because I just think that certain things happen in our lives that make you think, why? Yeah. And do you know where I got that from? Do you remember, obviously the president of America, Joe Biden?
Yes.
Well, his son was called Bo.
Okay.
And he was high up in politics, and he was in the army. Very good looking fella. And he was happily married and he had 2 young kids, and he fell ill.
Okay.
And then it turns out he had terminal cancer.
Oh, goodness, right.
And that broke Joe Biden's heart.
Right.
And he done an illustration of screaming at heaven. And it was somebody had done an artist impression of Joe Biden. And he was overholding his son's headstone saying, "Why me?" And God responding back, "Why not?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he has been given this platform. He was vice president to Barack Obama and all that kind of stuff. And that really stunned me. You know, when you say when something happens, well, why me? Well, why not?
Yeah.
You know, it's how you challenge yourself when life hits you a kick in the backside or anywhere else. You can lie there and you can cry and you can yap and you can moan and you can gurn and you can whinge and you can blame everybody else. But see, while you're down there, take 2 minutes and then get back up again.
Yeah.
And then start all over again. You know, because I honestly believe your health is your wealth. You can have as much money as Celine Dion, as much power as Joe Biden. But you know what? We're all only human.
Well, this is it, isn't it? This is it.
That's your life lesson from Tina Leg's Tantrum and Glenn Marshall Adams. Ladies and gentlemen, so it is. So the next time something happens, you go, "Why me?" You just look in the mirror and go, "Why not?"
Why me? Ask Linda Martin.
Big Linda Martin. God love her. God love her. I didn't really want to talk about this before, but I think I should because I see it on a daily basis. One thing that really ticks me off is people who get dogs and leave them in the garden.
Okay.
I don't know why they do it. I understand you might have a busy household. I understand you may have kids or, you know, or you can't walk the dog.
Do you mean people who have dogs but to live in the garden, you mean?
They live in the garden.
Okay, right. I see what you mean.
And they walk past it going in and they walk past it going out and they give it a wee pet in the head and things like that. I understand. And they're not being cruel per se. Do you know what I mean? Phone somebody and say to them, "Listen, if I give you a couple of pounds to walk a dog for me."
It's a funny thing, isn't it? I think it's a generation thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think as a nation of dog lovers, I think it's really probably only been within like the last, I would say, 20 years. Maybe not even as long as that.
Yeah.
I would say really in the last 20 years, we've become really a nation of dog lovers.
We have.
I mean, like serious, where the fact that to the point now where we see dogs as an extension of the family.
That's it.
Rather than a pet.
Yeah.
And
I'm one of them.
yeah, I mean, we don't have a dog. We're too selfish, unfortunately. We like.
At least I like the honesty.
Well,
I
it's
appreciate
just,
the honesty.
You know, from our point of view, we like to come home after a day's work and decide to go to the pub, and we don't have to think about a dog or
Anybody else.
Or if I'm out and I'm chatting to the ones in work, they'll go, "Do you fancy going out for a drink after work?" And I'll be like, "Yep, no problem." Whereas I know other people will go, "Oh, I've got to rush home to see the dog," or But I think this idea of dogs being like only deserve to live in the house rather than outside, I think that's a relatively new. I mean, I'm not a dog owner, so I'm just telling you my view on it. But I totally get your point, though. It's like, why bother having a pet if you're not going to show it the love and affection and the attention?
Absolutely, and I'm sure that those dogs in the garden are very well looked after, cared for, and loved, and all of those other things. But go you and sit in the garden for 8 hours.
You've got a point.
Go you and piss in the garden for 8 hours. Go you and do your business in the garden for 8 hours. Go you and lie on the wet grass and sit in the rain when it rains. It's only a wee shower. Well, go you and sit in it. Put your big coat on and go out and sit in it and see what you like. And it's 22 degrees outside or it's freezing outside. Yeah. And you've only got that one coat. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I just think it's very sad. And I think the alternative would be, be honest with yourself, if the dog is a nuisance and it's just not working out for you. Beautiful when it's a wee pup, right? If you can't get somebody to walk it, give it to somebody who can. Mm-hmm. You know?
Sip and share.
So this is our Sip and Share segment, and we have yet another listener question.
Oh, fantastic.
This question comes in on Instagram from someone called Try that again. This is an Instagram question from Veronica Q. Veronica's question is, "Hello guys, My question is for you, Tina. If Tina could play any leading lady in a film, who would it be? What would the film be called? And who would be your leading actor? Absolutely love the podcast. It's entertaining, educational, and real. Heart emoji, rainbow. Heart emoji, rainbow.
Oh, isn't that lovely? Thank you, Veronica, darling.
Yes, Veronica, thank you so much for your question.
Now, if I was in a movie,
if Tina could play any leading lady in a film, who would it be?
Julia Roberts.
Okay, and I'd love to know why.
Well, definitely because she's stunning, like me. She's successful, like me. She's articulate, like me. I love that hooker vibe and Pretty Woman, honestly. But that's not my favourite role Julia Roberts played.
Okay.
If I was in a movie, the character would be a very Erin Brockovich type of character.
No nonsense, redhead, cannot be put down, will not be told no.
No.
Will prove everybody wrong.
Absolutely.
That's a nice trait. What would the film be called?
Oh, what would the film be called? Justice by Tina.
Okay. And who would be your leading actor?
Oh, Lord. Sylvester Stallone.
That's a really random choice.
Yeah,
You're going to have to elaborate. What's the Sylvester Stallone?
Okay, so I'm going to open up a bit here and I might get a wee bit emotional.
Wait. Let me press play on the really sad music.
I'm going to get up and hit you in a minute. So I am. The reason why is I've always had a crush, lifelong crush on Sylvester Stallone ever since I was a wee girl. But I just love him. I think every movie he's ever been in, I just adore him. And even now as an older man, an older actor, look at him. He's lush. And I think if I was in a movie and it was a big movie and it was going, I would want Sylvester Stallone to be that lawyer, sexy, older, wiser, takes no nonsense, someone who Tina's character can lean on. And it would be a lovely relationship, non-sexual. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, yeah.
You know, that kind of, I think that would be my perfect movie to be in for me, you know. Because he admires her inner strength and she admires his outer strength. You can see he's strong and muscly and silver foxed and gorgeous and delicious and all.
So we just need a screenwriter out there now to take Tina's idea and turn it into a script that Tina can read. And any Hollywood producers out there that are looking for their next big hit, here you go.
Or Tina is a foster mum and she falls in, you know, for some of the kids and she wants to keep them and protect them and she has to go through the courts and then the families want their kids back and they just know that it's only going to come to a bad end and Sylvester Stallone comes in as the lawyer who fights the case. Adrian! Exactly. I'm going to get the court. You can play the Rocky. Dun, 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 dun. And Tina's over in the corner. Ding, ding. Round one. Birthday glove.
Well, thank you so much for that, Tina.
Oh, you're more than welcome, love. I mean, I just adore that man. I always have.
I mean, how would Andy Murray feel about Sylvester Stallone?
Well, I wouldn't tell him, you see.
Well, Veronica, there you have it. Tina has answered your question.
Thanks, V.
V, thank you so much for sending your question in. Really appreciate it.
We want people to send in more questions. I love them.
More.
How do you like it? How do you like it? More.
Yeah, so if you do have a question for Tina or I, you can get in touch. All of the information is in the description of this episode.
And while you're at it, please don't forget to share our wee Sips and Giggles podcast with a family member, with a work colleague, with a neighbour. Get together, have a few drinks, a bit of a giggle, and you can listen to almost every episode, which are available on all major podcast platforms. And I would also appeal to our gorgeous listeners, send us a wee question or two for Glenn. Go on. You know you want to. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little non-dog tour.
I'll be totally caught out when you ask me a question.
Oh, I can't wait. I might even set up a couple of fake profiles. get you. And
So don't forget, we're back in 1 week's time.
Yes.
And we have a very special guest on our next episode.
Yes, we do.
Do you want to let the kids know?
No.
Oh,
I
no,
think,
leave
no,
it
let
as a
them tune in.
surprise.
Yes,
Okay.
keep it as a surprise. Oh, our first ever guest on
Our
the
very
6th.
first ever guest.
And it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I really enjoyed myself chatting
Yeah.
to this person, to be fair.
So good to have another soul and a voice and an opinion and, in the studio. Oh, it was just marvellous.
And we'll probably get them back on at a later stage as well.
Yeah.
So we'll invite people, the next time that we bring them on, we'll invite people to ask questions perhaps, and they can ask
Absolutely.
questions off this person. But anyway, until next time, Tina, cheery bye.
And the very same to you, my darling Glenn Marshall Adams. Chin chin.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at G&T Pod. Also, thank you to those people that took the time to write in a question. If you would like to write in a question or send us a voice note, you'll find the details in the description of this episode. And of course, if we haven't already asked enough of you, please subscribe and leave a review, but be kind. Much love, G&T.